I first became interested in languages when I was about 3 or 4 years old, which is very strange. But we only had 3 books in our house. We had a car mechanics manual, a French grammar and a German grammar. That's the only books we had. And I used to creep downstairs early in the morning and read the grammar books because I thought it was like a secret language and I wanted to be part of it. I wanted to learn it. I suppose I could have ended up being a car mechanic instead of which I ended up writing Italian grammar books. So. It wasn't actually taught at my school. My school taught French, German and Russian because a lot of Scottish schools taught Russian. I went to school in Scotland. There was a young teacher of German who said that she also spoke Italian, and she said if anybody's interested in learning it, but you know, after school, because it wasn't a formal arrangement. And 2 of us decided that we really wanted to learn Italian, and we studied, I think, for a year, and both of us went on to do Italian at university, and then we went on to teach Italian, so I guess she must have been quite inspiring. Apart from not having the teacher throwing grammar books or dictionaries at us when we fell asleep, yeah, I think the university was still quite old-fashioned at that time. I think there was a lot of emphasis given to literature. I think it's changed a lot for students doing languages now, but it was still, the emphasis was on the literature rather than the spoken language. But I suppose what was wonderful for me was to see that, you know, it wasn't just about learning verbs. It was about being able to use the language, either in literature or actually in the country. So yeah, and the emphasis is on learning the things that you need, not learning the things that you need to do to pass an exam, I suppose. I think you can't really learn a language, you can't really study a language without the culture that goes with it. If it's just about words, then you can get a computer to do the translation. It's not just about words. Language is also about the people who speak it, it's about the country they live in, it's about their customs and their culture. And that's a really important part. It's something that I think most teachers now are aware of. I think it has to be built into courses. I think students want to know about the country. And obviously now, when there's much more mobility within Europe, then we can meet people even in the UK who speak the language, even if you don't go outside the UK. You're going to meet French people, you're going to meet Germans, you're going to meet a lot of Italians, Spanish, yeah. So culture is pretty important. That's a tricky one, isn't it? It's hard to say what you'd have done. I think that in my experience from studying the language to what I'm doing now, which is basically teaching at the Open University, writing materials, between that I did a lot of things. I did a lot of translating, I did a lot of interpreting, I've done court interpreting, getting the bad guys and the good guys, police interpreting, I've been around factories, interpreting with car parts and metals and all sorts of exciting things. But yeah, basically I've met a lot of different people and done a lot of different jobs that I probably wouldn't have done if I didn't speak fluent Italian. Yes, I think it's actually very important to know more than one language, because even if you're not planning to work outside the UK, presumably most people are planning to work at some point, and if you want to get a job, then we need to be equal with people who are coming from mainland Europe who not only speak English but they speak another language, if not 2 other languages. So I think from the employability point of view, learning languages is very important, but it also gives you an insight into the way that other people live and how other people think. And because we live in a multicultural world, that's actually quite important. I'm teaching my granddaughters Italian, and they already know that Italian dogs say bow bow, not woof woof. So just little things like that. You know, it's not taking things for granted.